I'm Paul Perkins with the check of your ag weather. With low pressure off to our west, south winds remain a bit stronger all the way through Thursday with occasional gusts of 25 to 30. Any thunderstorms that develop over the panhandle through this evening are expected to die out. Tomorrow through Thursday is mostly dry as a ridge of high pressure builds north from the southern plains. After highs this afternoon in the 80s, highs are more seasonal tomorrow through Friday, with most areas reaching into the mid-80s to the low 90s. Northwest Kansas can expect highs in the mid-90s by Friday. Weak disturbances result in a few thunderstorms tomorrow night and Thursday night. Friday through most of the weekend is dry. The weekend is the hottest with widespread highs in the 90s, even around 100 over parts of northern Kansas. Heat index values of 100 to 105 are also possible. Spotty thunderstorms return by Sunday night through Monday with approaching low pressure. Highs cool back to the mid-80s to the low 90s on Monday. In the long-term forecast, warmer than normal temperatures are likely for Nebraska and Kansas the early half of next week. Temperatures drop back to seasonal to slightly warmer than normal levels late next week through Labor Day on September 2nd. By the beginning days of September, central Nebraska daytime highs are usually in the low 80s with average overnight lows around 60. Nebraska and Kansas rainfall Sunday through Labor Day expected to be mostly near normal. Slightly below normal rainfall is indicated for much of central and eastern Nebraska and all of Kansas late next week through September 2nd. Key weather factors the markets are watching include dry weather in the Corn Belt, rain lingering across the northern plains and Canadian prairies for wheat harvest, and concerns of dry weather before planting in South America. Mostly dry weather prevails in the U.S. the next several days. Dry weather covers the southeastern half of the U.S. the rest of the week. The exception is across Florida's peninsula and as far north as the coastal Carolinas. A resurgent southwestern monsoon flow of moisture interacting with a cold front could result in a midweek enhancement of rain in the north central U.S. Across the northern plains and Canadian prairies, the rainfall is not needed in the mature wheat areas and overly wet corn and soybean fields, adding to the concern of quality loss and harvest delays for wheat. Hot, dry weather persists in the south central U.S. Next week, scattered rain is looking to be a possibility across the Corn Belt. Before then, temperatures increase for much of the Corn Belt this weekend into next week, but next week's rain could bring some milder temperatures into the plains. In southern Brazil, continuing rain chances this week help the wheat and increase the soil moisture before planting of full season corn. Central Brazil expects little or no rain, which is needed ahead of soybean planting. There is hope in central Brazil that wet season rains become more consistent later this month. Argentina continues to need more widespread heavy rain for developing wheat and corn planting next month. Overseas in Europe, conditions are mixed. Rain this past weekend was favorable for southern areas of Europe, but not for the northern areas that are still too wet. Heat may return to more areas of Europe this weekend into next week, keeping the crop stress high in the south where soil moisture is lower. With the check of your ag weather, I'm Paul Perkins.